guys, today I'm just going to share with you how I take cuttings and how I've been duplicating my plants for years. So we're going to go ahead and get started and make this a quick, easy lesson. We take cuttings here at the garden farm because it helps us save money. It also just allows us to be able to have more plants in our garden that we love. Today, as you see right here, I've got 2 stock plants. I waited a little long because I kept them outside on some cool nights. We're kind of coming to an end here in our gardening season, so that's why you see some of the leaves curling. They got hit with a really light frost, but other than that, they are overall still great, healthy plants. So I'm just going to use these coleus plants to kind of show you a little bit on how we take cuttings. Our first step is to use this tray. This is a 128. All that means is that there's 128 cells in this tray. We get our trays from Growers Supply and we use them over and over until they can't be used anymore. After each use, we wash them out with water and dish soap. We make sure they're completely rinsed of all the soap so that doesn't hurt our next set of plants. And then we go ahead, let them air dry. We store them until we need them again, which is right now. So that's what we use. For the soil, we use the Espoma seed starter. It's for seed starting and for cuttings. It's a really nice mixture. As you can see, it's got nice rich ingredients and there's moisture to the soil as well, and it retains moisture, which is perfect for taking cuttings because you want the soil to retain moisture because you do not want those cuttings to dry out. Next, we're going to take our mix here and we're going to go ahead and fill up the tray. Once you're done using the soil, you always want to close up the bag or tuck it away somewhere so that way it doesn't lose the moisture in it, because if it's too dry, it's really hard to use it next time and have water absorb into it. So the next step then is we are going to go ahead and water our soil all the way through. So I went ahead and allowed the water to absorb in through there. So I'm going to go ahead and water it again because I want to soak this soil. Your tray is ready once it's dripping water from the bottom. Now the next step is to take cuttings. So I'm going to show you how I take cuttings from these coleus plants here. Right here, as you can see, there's a lot of new growth, so you can see the tops of the plants. Right here is where I go ahead and remove my cutting. So I'm just going to go right about there and snip it off. I use my finger. You can use a clipper or a scissors, whatever you're more comfortable with. I really enjoy loving to get my hands in there. I'm going to go ahead and take another one so you can see. So you can go right here, or you can even go all the way down if you prefer. I'm just going to go right here. If this plant didn't go through some frost damage, I would actually start taking the cuttings right from the tip of the longest section here. When you take that tip off as a cutting, it stops the plant from growing up for a while and allows all of these growths along the stem to come out and bush out, and that's how you get a bushier plant rather than a leggy, tall plant that could break off really easy during a windstorm. And now this is the simple part. All we do is go ahead and stick that cutting right in there. Go ahead and stick the cutting right in there. So as you can see, it's just the top of the plant. That's all we're taking off. Just the top of that plant. So right now we're just going to pretend like this whole tray is filled and move on to the next step. So the next thing you want to do is find the warmest location. Depending on your varieties, these like full sun, we're going to find the sunniest and warmest location in the greenhouse, which is right over here. Just water it once it starts looking like it's drying out. You always want to then water it till it comes out of the bottom. Another way to speed up the process to get those roots to take a lot faster is to put a heating pad underneath that. We don't use heating pads. We never really find a use for them because it's just another step. But if you need your cuttings to take a lot quicker because you need them for something, then I'd suggest, using a heating pad. But we've always had a lot of success with taking cuttings and just doing it this way. And that's why I wanted to share with you guys on how easy it is to take your own cuttings and duplicate your own plants and create so much color and variety throughout your gardens without spending hardly anything. So I'm also going to show you what some of our cuttings look like that were taken about a few months ago of our succulents. Like I've said before, we love taking cuttings, and one of the things that we love taking cuttings of are our succulents. And with these were taken months ago, which I should have had these planted up and potted up a while ago, but I just wanted to show you guys how beautiful they are and how big they are. So you have this beautiful succulent, and we're told all the time to cut the tip of our succulents in order to create a cutting. And what I mean by cut the tip is, I'll show you. We're told all the time to cut the whole top off, just like I did with the coleus. But with succulents, you don't have to do that. You can, because that's really nice for making arrangements that look nice right away. But with all of these here weren't taken by cuttings, they were taken by succulent leaves. And all we did was we removed a bottom leaf like that. We placed it on the tray like that and left it there. In a couple months, we had beautiful succulents that I could have potted up right away that were the same size as what I just showed you right now, just like that. So if you're making an arrangement, cutting the tip of your succulent, yeah, that's fine, and it'll look beautiful. But if you're looking to create even more succulents just to have them around, taking them from the leaf is the better way, because you can get so many more from one plant. Rather than with this one, you'd only be able to get a total of 4. But say you were to use every single leaf, I mean, that's about 50 to 60 succulents right here. So that's just always a good little tip that I like to share with succulents. I prefer a lot of cuttings of coleus and succulents, but there are many different varieties that you can take cuttings from, such as this beautiful lotus vine, geraniums, trailing verbenas, a lot of different flowers, potato vines, anything like that you can really take cuttings of. So it's always fun to experiment. Other things that you can't take cuttings of, a lot of times you can seed save from. Now we're in the house in front of our south side windows where I grow a lot of our cuttings and seed start a lot of what we grow in our gardens. And I just also wanted to share another little tip that really helps us retain some of that heat near the root system. And that little tip is just by adding a small little piece of plastic underneath. Because it gets so warm by the windows, it heats up the plants in the soil, and that helps keep the heat into the bottom of the root system. We find that little tip always works well for us every single time without a heating mat. But right here, these are getting dry. These have been here for about a week, so I wanted to show you how I'm about to go and water them. All right, so I just put it right in my sink. You can use your hose if you're outside, because right now we're just watering it through. So I'm just going to go ahead and water it until the water is draining out of the bottom of the drainage holes of this tray. You want to make sure everything gets water when it's all dry like this. You can tell it's getting dry when they start showing a little wilt in the leaves. The first few days you will see wilt in the leaves naturally, just because, and that isn't it needing water all the time. It just needs its leaves to get spritzed. So now I'm going to let it sit there till it drains out a little bit. Over here is a tray that's on its 3rd day with the coleus cuttings over here. So we are on the last day of leaf spritzing. So I just take a water bottle here, a spritzer, and I go ahead and spritz the leaves so they are wet. Because at this point, the soil is not dry. The soil is still a little wet, but we're keeping our leaves from drying out and curling up. So by adding that mist of spray, it keeps the leaves nice and wet. And usually that's a rule of thumb that we don't want to do when we're gardening, but when you take cuttings, in the first few days, I always prefer to keep the leaves wet because I noticed that we don't get a lot of that curling and drying leaves then. So that's another little tip. As you can see, this tray does look a lot more advanced than the other tray because it is a few days further along. So in here we've got some coleus. We also have some secretia. We also have the citronella plant, which is a type of a geranium. And then we also have some ubies over here, some mazo, some lotus vine, some mint, and some geraniums. So you guys can see a good variety of different style of cuttings that we've taken.